Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Agnes. I'm a nail technician and a content creator, and I share all things nails and so much more. Today we are infilling my very outgrown nails, and we're going to do some tortoise shell designs. We're experimenting with some 3D nail art, and I'm trying out a new product for those gold accents on my nails. So if all that sounds good to you, let's get straight into this video. Now, I have managed to injure my cuticle here on my thumb. Out of all the possibilities, I bashed my cuticle of my thumb in the wardrobe while hanging up a jumper. I don't know how you can manage that, but anyway, I did. It's minor, but it is tender, so I'm going to be really careful here. Otherwise, my nails are looking fab, lots of outgrowth and no lifting, apart from on that thumb, I think. To channel some Catwoman vibes, I have popped on a pair of black gloves. I'm only kidding. It's to hide my scabby hands and to draw your attention to my nails. There you go, there's inspo for what to dress up as for Halloween, which I cannot believe is literally around the corner. We need to decorate the salon soon. Anyway, as always, I've went in with my trusty Willow Academy drill bit in penny, which is a safety round dome top drill bit. You literally cannot go wrong with this drill bit. And mine's is in medium grit. So I'm just removing all the gel polish that's on my nails, and I'd have red on. It's one that I always go back to. Red is a classic, you can't go wrong with it. Anyway, so we're just taking that all down to the builder gel level, and it is hard builder gel that I have on my nails, and there's that little bit of lifting showing now on my thumbnail there. And there we go, that's quite a good finish. Just by tickling with the top of that drill bit, you can get right close to the sides. All caught up with the other hand also. Now I'm going in with Navy Pro's Tortoise, which is their cuticle pusher, trying really gently here to push that little nick back. However, it's not really budging and it's quite tender. So continuing on to the other nails, I'm pushing all that cuticle back, and then we'll come back and try and tackle that cuticle on the thumbnail with my e-file. With my cuticles pushed back, I'm then going in with my hand file and I'm just etching the regrowth area of the nails. This is going to get rid of any leftover gel polish that's on the nails, and it's going to remove any debris or cuticle that is stuck on the new nail. You want to be really thorough with this and remove all shine from the natural nail. Any lifting, shine or debris that's left on the natural nail can and will cause problems when it comes to a reapplication of fresh product. You can end up with lifting, so you want to be really thorough with this part, but making sure not to overfile. You just need to remove the shine and the debris that's on the nails. A lot of nail techs prefer to do this part after they've done all their cuticle work, but for me, I like to do the cuticle work as the very last thing before fresh product application. I just feel like it nicely polishes off the nails, whereas with the hand file, you can kind of snag the cuticle. So I like everything nice and polished, and everybody's got their own routine, and this is mine. It does change sometimes, not often. It's pretty much the same for the best part of me doing nails. So really carefully working around that sore bit on my thumb there, brushing off the excess, and we are now ready to go in with my e-file. After catching up on the other hand, of course. There we go. Loading up my e-file with, you guessed it, the Prep Etch Cone Drill Bit by Lucy Pepperoni. Gee whiz, Lucy Pastorelli, I am so sorry. I've got my e-file set to 10 RPM, and I'm just really gently sweeping around the cuticle area. On a client, I would work from top right side down to my left and then working down the side walls. However, everything is slightly more awkward when you're working on yourself, so I'm just polishing all around my cuticles. Most importantly, I am making sure that I'm keeping the angle of the drill bit in line with my natural nail so that the tip of the drill bit isn't digging into my natural nail. You know you're going wrong somewhere with your e-file when the natural nail grows in with a groove around the cuticle area, or otherwise known as ring of fire. You're either applying too much pressure, your RPM is too high, or your angling is all wrong, in which case you have some troubleshooting to do. Catching up on my other hand, fabulous! And now we're ready for the last step in my prep process, which is removing any non-living tissue surrounding the nails. Starting with my thumb, being extremely cautious here, I've sped this up as I am going for the less is more approach, gently chipping away at the dry skin, taking tiny bits of dry cuticle away as opposed to proper going for it and ended up hurting myself. The cuticle nippers I'm using are by Navy Pro and it's their super fine cuticle nippers in Katie. Now while I do that, in other news, if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for clicking on yet another one of my videos. It's so lovely to have you. I hope you're all doing really good. As I sit here and record this voiceover, I've got Freya, my gorgeous little fur baby of a cat, tucked up beside me wearing the cutest little bodysuit, and I can officially say after all the comings and goings of having Freya babies, Freya has been neutered or sprayed as of yesterday. She was high as a kite after her operation, but she is recovering very quickly. She is such a little trooper, and I'm sure she'll be more than content to live her best life independently in her own company without going through the traumatizing experience of squeezing out a bunch of furry babies. Back to the nails. With all the prep done, we've wiped the nails with acetone. We're then going in with the Gel Bottle's clear rubber based coat, and I'm really pushing that into my natural nail, into all those little etchings that we've put onto the nail plate, and I'm just applying that on all 5 nails before popping that hand into the lamp to cure under the low heat mode for 90 seconds. But yeah, Freya in her little body, it's the cutest thing. Honestly, I can't cope. Like, my heart melts every time I look at her. And the body is such a better option than the cone. She just does not get on with the cone. We tried it on her, but she was like having none of it. Also, how cute is the strawberry one? Oh, we got this set from Amazon and we never actually realised that the body comes as a set of 2 as opposed to just the 1. So we just ordered thinking we were getting the strawberry one, but then along comes this cute blue cherry one too. Ah, obsessed. Anyways, the hard gel I have on my nails is the Gel Bottle's Nude Gel Pot in number 3, and I'm using the Gel Bottle's number 2 round brush to apply this onto my nails. I basically just pick up a bead like so and I place it onto the nail and then sort of wiggle it and work it into place. You can also place down a slip layer if you wish before going in with your beads, completely optional. I do find that you have more control over the product when you're going straight in with your structure layer. More self-leveling with a slip layer, but I find that sometimes it's more likely to flood into the cuticles or your sidewalls as opposed to going straight in with your structure layer. It's completely up to yourself and I swap and change depending on my mood. Can we just have a moment of appreciation for this colour though? Like, oh, it is a gorgeous Frenchy pink, love. And I should mention too, the length of my nails here, it's not my own. I use this hard gel to sculpt these extensions. I'm applying the bulk of the product at the regrowth area and then I'm working it down the nail, applying the least amount of product at the very tip of the nail. I also use this long liner brush. This one is the number 2 liner brush by the Gel Bottle, just to guide the product where I need it to go and to get it really close to my cuticles. And I work on one nail at a time, cure it, not necessarily a full cure on each nail, just enough to stop the product from moving around before moving on to the next nail, but then I'm making sure to fully cure when I put my hand in for the last nail. Speaking of, out comes my hand from the light and I am wiping off the tacky residue just using acetone or alcohol, whichever you have handy. And I'm getting the other hand up to speed before going in with my hand file to refine the shape. Now, let's be honest, while this part can get a bit boring sometimes, there is nothing more satisfying than embarking on the process of refining freshly laid product and just seeing the nails go from 0 to 100. I don't think I'll ever get out of the habit of refining nails. Like, why would you prep and plaster a wall and not sand it afterwards before painting it? Like, do you see what I'm saying? I'm not going to spend too much time here as I'm just repeating the same process on all of my nails. I mentioned my nails are sculpted extensions, so as it's been about a month since I did these extensions, the nails will have moved forward loads, which means that the thickest part of the nail, which would have been at the stress point where the nail extends beyond the fingertip, this will have moved forwards. So I am actually going to go in with my e-file underneath the nail and just carve out some of this bulk rather than overfiling over the top of my nails, which would result in the finished nails significantly curving downwards. I hope that makes sense. And here's what my nails look like, all infilled, rebalanced and cleaned up, ready for design. Although the only thing missing is my patience at this point. So I actually ended up top coating these nails and I returned to finish them the next day. Okay, so the inspo for today's nail design came from receiving this incredible package from Rose Forever, which is a New York-based brand which launched in 2019. Rose Forever design luxurious rose boxes with real roses that stay fresh and gorgeous for at least a year. What? So for all my single girlies out there, I can buy myself flowers. You know they're gonna last a whole year. Yeah. So fresh roses are harvested when they're in bloom and then they dehydrate them in a chamber that eliminates the moisture from the roses. They are then soaked in a glycerin solution which replaces the natural moisture in the roses, which returns the softness and flexibility of the roses as if they were freshly picked, which preserves them. The roses are then carefully arranged into an acrylic organizer like mine's. They also have other options on their website, including hat boxes in different colours and shapes and sizes and materials. I just think this is such a cool idea. Like, why buy bouquets upon bouquets of roses when you could literally get something like this and it'll last you for a long time? So if you wanna buy yourself flowers, Rose Forever have kindly provided us with a coupon. You can get $20 off with my code Agnes20. There's a UK and a USA website link in my description box. You're welcome. Be quick though, this offer isn't around for long. So feeling inspired, I was feeling posh, gold, sophisticated, edging towards autumn type set of nails to shoot some content with my Rose Forever organizer. So let's go ahead and jazz up these nails. Because we put on a top coat, I'm gently buffing over my nails to make them porous again before going in with the gel bottle in Marshmallow, which is more or less of the same colour as our hard gel that we already have on our nails. It's just going to even out the base colour and give me a fresh tacky surface to work with. I should have missed out that middle finger there because that is going to be a full colour nail, but never mind. I am such a natural nail girl at heart. Like, I've been done and did all the designs you could think of. Nothing beats a nice clean nail. I love it. Nonetheless, we are going to choose these nails up, and on my middle finger I'm just going in with the gel bottle in Amber, which is a translucent burnt orange glass jelly colour, whatever you want to call it, and then I'm also applying that onto my pinky nail as well. I'm just doing a sort of like a semicircle at the tip of my nail, and then my thumb is going to be a Frenchie. And this is going to be the base for the Tortoise shell effect. I just dispersed, that's a weird funny word, I dispersed some product onto the top of my nail, and then I went in with liner 1 brush by the gel bottle to just bring that up the sides of the nails to create a French tip. Full cure in the light, and then I got out my nail art palette and I'm dispersing a little bit of Fash Hun by the gel bottle, Woody by the gel bottle, and Jet Black again by the gel bottle, and that's just going to be the colours in our Tortoise shell. And then I'm going in with clear blooming gel on my middle finger first. I'm only going to do this one nail at a time because you don't want the nails to over bloom. So I've popped on my blooming gel, and with a large dotting tool I'm just picking up different shades of the brown and the black, dotting that all over my nails, just trying to keep it really random, not too perfect. And you can see where I started off has already bloomed to nothing, so then I'm just adding a little bit more, and that's just going to create a lot of depth. So that sounded like death, I meant depth. Before curing this, I am swooping my liner 1 brush all around the nail just to get a nice edge on it. And then I'm dispersing a little bit of Extreme Shine Top Coat onto my palette, mixing my 3 colours with that to fill in any gaps and darken up some areas. Mixing those gel polishes with the top coat just sort of thins down the pigment, which allows me to sort of marble this all over that design on the nail. And then I'm just going to repeat the same process on the pinky and the thumbnail, and just working on one nail at a time, so curing it before moving on to the next one, because otherwise you're going to have a hot mess. If you're still here and watching, I want to say a special thank you to you. Please do leave a little turtle emoji in the comment section.
Turtle!
That was Reese. And that's all 3 of my tortoise shell designs done. Now, I was going to do some bling, some gold rhinestones on these nails. So here I am dispersing some out of this packet. And with the Gel Bottles Extreme Shine Top Coat, I am top coating those tortoise shell designs. I was going to pop some of these diamantes, just a little hair there. I was going to pop these diamantes straight into the top coat. However, I ended up changing my mind, so just ignore them. I am going to cure that top coat. For those tortoise shell nails, we done the base layer of the orange, and then we went in with blooming gel. Then we added splodges of gel polish in there and more over the top of that. So there's loads of layers going on. So I decided to use that top coat just to level these nails out. So here I am going in with a fine grit buffer to get rid of all these funky textures, just to smooth out these nails, dusting off. And I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I wiped these nails and I was like, ooh, I like. How nice are they matte? Absolutely loving how sophisticated these looks. I thought, scrap the rhinestones, we are gonna keep classy. So I got this alcohol ink from Temu and it's gold, and I was very intrigued. The video reviews on the listing looked insane, so I had to try this. So giving it a good shake, it's got a little marble in there. Look at all these bubbles, so satisfying. So anyway, I'm getting this open and it is really runny, so just be careful. I popped a bit of kitchen towel underneath just to avoid any messes. This is literally my first time trying this out, so I'm doing a gold cuff here on my French smile line. The brush is quite a bit longer and stiffer than my trusty liner 1 brush. I suppose this would be easier for just straight lines. So you can see my line is thickening up as I keep going over it, perfecting that cuff. This looks incredible. Look at that. I did have to keep picking up more product because it is an alcohol based ink, so it was evaporating quite quickly. I should also add that you need to shake the bottle often as well, because the pigment does fall to the bottom. But those minor things aside, I love that it's so metallic-y gold as opposed to shimmery, which I find is hard to get in gold. I've mentioned this before in my videos. You get a really good silver every time, but never a good gold. So I just did the same on the pinky as well, outlining that semicircle. Absolutely stunning. For the middle nail, I decided to do a cuff around the cuticle with a line coming down the centre of the nail. I don't know, I'm terrible at explaining what I'm doing. And then I just kind of joined that line up with the cuff, so it kind of like has a little feature in the centre of the nail, little spike. Anyways, this gold alcohol ink came as a set of 2 with a silver, and it was just £3.70. I'll add the link in the description box down below in case you would like to go and pick one up for yourself as well. So here I'm just tidying up that little thorn on the middle nail, just getting a really nice sharp point on it. And with this being alcoholic ink, it does air dry, so you do not need to cure this, but just make sure that it's fully dry before going in with your top coat, as I'm doing here. I'm making sure to catch all of that gold detail and the free edge with my top coat, just to prevent any chipping. I'm then going to pop my hand in the lamp for a full cure, and it just means we don't need to worry about potentially ruining those nails when we start to work on our ring and index nails. Speaking of, I have reached out for my Sissy the 3D nail clay in the colour nudes. With a spatula, I'm scooping out a chunk of this clay, which I've rolled into a log at the back of my hand, and I'm just picking it up and placing it onto my ring fingernail. I just plonked it down roughly where I'd like it to go, and with a silicone tool, I'm sort of manipulating and curving this log of clay to complement the shape of my nails. So just kind of slight curvature, and yeah. I'm just tapering out that bottom end as well. I don't want to ruin this, so I'm going to pop that into the lamp to cure, and then I'm just going to repeat the same steps, and we're just creating another swirl on my nail just below the other one with my silicone tool, tippy tappy, just manipulating that shape. I've got a lovely almond shape going on, so I'm just tapering the sort of tail of this to kind of vertically come down towards the center of my nail. And again, curing that in the lamp before moving on to the index nail, for which again I'm scooping out some more clay and making a slightly longer log. Unfortunately, I didn't roll out a log long enough, so I just wanted to do like a wibbly wobbly kind of circle on top of my nail. Didn't have enough clay, so I ended up rolling out another log and kind of joined it up with what I had on the nail. Yeah, it was a bit tricky. It looked as though I had both of those ends really nicely blended into the other one. However, you're gonna see it when we paint this that it's not well blended in at all. What I should have done was I should have cured the first part of that circle and then done the additional bit so that I could really push the additional wet clay into what was cured, if that makes sense. I would have got a much better blend, I feel. But anyway, you live and learn. I'm curing that before going in with my gold ink or paint or whatever. In hindsight, I'm not sure if I should have maybe given these 3D bits a light buff over before painting them, because I did find that after a week of wear, the 3D gold bits began to chip. It could also be that I have been doing a lot of DIY around the house recently. Also bearing in mind, I don't often wear 3D nail art on my nails, so maybe I was a bit hash bash. Either way, if I were to do this again, I would double top coat those 3D bits. But the rest of the nails were absolutely fine. Anyway, I was mentioning the two joins on this nail. Can't really quite see just yet, but I feel like when the top coat goes on, it's like boom. Speaking of top coat, I'm just giving this index nail a quick tidy up before literally scrubbing the top coat onto these nails. I'm making sure not to apply too much top coat so that you don't lose the emphasis on the 3D nail art. You want them to be really kind of, you know, popping out from the rest of the nail. Matter of fact, I'm going in with what I used as the cleanup brush earlier. That brush is really helpful for getting into little bits that my wand on my top coat can't get to. But yeah, as I said, if I were to do these nails again, it would be at this stage I would put a little bit of top coat just over the gold 3D bits. I would fully cure that, and then I would top coat the full nail, including the 3D bits, so that they would get 2 coats of top coat. And I wonder if that would have saved the chipping. Pop that in the lamp to cure, and all that's left to do then is to catch up on the other hand. And no, I did not do the same design on the other hand, because girl, ain't nobody got time for that, okay? I'm too lazy. It was not happening. So I just done a nice autumnal dark brown, and I used my pretty hand for the content. So yeah. Guys, can we just appreciate how the Navy Pro tools match my nails here? Oh, love it. I'm just applying the Navy Pro cuticle balm all over my cuticles. Matter of fact, I think I might store my Navy Pro tools in my Rose Forever organizer. That would be such an aesthetic. Anyway, here's the finished result. I don't know about you guys, but that 3D gold detailing is giving Gucci belt buckle. Is that just me? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a like, comment and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. Love you all, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!